landlord! Get away from this house! You don't belong here!
Ma'am, I'm staying here. My friends are inside.
It was supposed to be a peaceful weekend getaway, a quiet house, a calm neighborhood, a simple vacation. But everything changed when a stranger blocked the front door, screamed slurs in the middle of the night, and tried to stop a black guest from stepping inside the Airbnb he actually paid for. She thought she had power. She thought she was protecting the neighborhood. But by the next morning, she wouldn't even be allowed to live in that neighborhood anymore. Before we go on, welcome to Untold Stories. If you enjoy real stories exposing injustice, hit the like button, subscribe, and tell us where you're watching from. Your support means everything. The weekend trip was planned by Taylor Brooks, a 26-year-old graphic designer from Chicago. She loved quiet spaces, good coffee, and weekends where she didn't have to think too hard about anything. Taylor invited her two closest friends, Alyssa, funny and energetic, and Jordan Lee, gentle, quiet, and the most patient person anyone knew. Jordan worked in IT. He was the kind of guy who helped neighbors fix their Wi-Fi, held doors open for strangers, and never raised his voice at anyone. He was also arriving a day late because of a delayed flight. No one thought anything of it. Jordan had the address, the door code, and the room already set up for him. Nothing about him or the trip was supposed to be complicated. But across the street lived Carol Henderson. Carol was the self-appointed watchdog of the neighborhood. She wasn't elected. She wasn't asked. She simply decided the street belonged to her. Neighbors said she reported Amazon drivers for loitering, yelled at teenagers for walking too close to her lawn, and even told visiting relatives to show proof they belonged there. She didn't protect the neighborhood. She bothered it. And when she saw Jordan walking toward the Airbnb door late at night, her worst impulses came alive. The first night of the trip was peaceful. Taylor and Alyssa unpacked, made dinner, relaxed, and went to bed early. Nothing strange happened, not even a noise. But the second night, everything fell apart. Around 11 p.m., Taylor shot awake to the sound of violent banging on the front door. The hits were so loud they rattled the picture frames on the hallway wall. Half asleep, she assumed Jordan had arrived and maybe forgot the code. She threw on her hoodie and headed toward the sound. But before she reached the door, she heard it. A woman's voice, sharp, angry, full of hate. "Get away from this house. You don't belong here." Taylor froze. She recognized Jordan's voice responding, confused, polite, too calm for what was happening. "Ma'am, I'm staying here. My friends are inside." But Carol wasn't listening, or she didn't care. She stood in front of the keypad like she owned it, arms spread wide, blocking him completely. "You're lying. You people always try something at night. Not here. Not in this neighborhood." Taylor felt sick. There was no misunderstanding, no fear, no confusion. This was racism, loud, clear, and in Jordan's face. Jordan tried again, still patient, still respectful. "Here's the address, Get out of here," she snapped. "Go back where you came from." That was it. Taylor couldn't stay quiet. She yanked the front door open. "He is with us," she said, her voice steady. "Move." Carol spun around fast, caught off guard. For a second, her confidence cracked. But then she doubled down. "The owner would never let someone like him stay here," she shouted. That was when the footsteps thundered down the stairs inside the Airbnb. Fast, heavy, angry. The owner, Mr. Langford, practically flew down the steps. "What is going on here?" he demanded. Carol stumbled over her words instantly. I was helping. I thought he was breaking in. I was trying to protect." Mr. Langford cut her off with a glare. "This man is my guest." Carol blinked. Her mouth fell open. The story she rehearsed in her head wasn't working. "And you," he continued, "are trespassing on my property." She froze. "Leave," he said firmly, "right now, or I call the police." The shift was instant. Her power evaporated. Her bravado died. She backed away slowly, muttering weak excuses, then hurried across the street, humiliated and exposed. But her humiliation didn't end that night. While she was yelling, several neighbors recorded her with their doorbell cameras. The videos spread fast in the neighborhood group chat. People were furious. Not at Jordan, at her. By the next morning, the HOA president, two board members, and the property manager had already reviewed the footage. They had also pulled up past complaints about Carol, harassing visitors, chasing off delivery workers, threatening teenagers. This was the final straw. At 9:15 a.m., Carol heard a knock on her door. When she opened it, she found the HOA president, the property manager, and a security officer standing on her front steps. Carol Henderson, the manager said. Based on last night's recorded incident, you are being removed from this community immediately for harassment, trespassing, and violating conduct rules. Carol's face drained of color. What? I was protecting. We all saw the video, the HOA president said coldly. You weren't protecting anything. She was handed an official immediate eviction notice. She had 24 hours to leave the neighborhood. Carol tried arguing, but nobody listened. Neighbors stood outside watching. Some filmed. Most just stared in disbelief. By the next morning, a moving truck sat in her driveway. She packed in silence. No one helped her. No one said goodbye. The woman who thought she controlled the neighborhood was gone from it in a single day. Inside the Airbnb, Mr. Langford apologized to Jordan again and again. He refunded part of their stay. He installed a camera at the door. He brought them breakfast as a peace offering. But what stayed with Taylor wasn't the yelling or the slurs. It was Jordan's face. He didn't get angry. He didn't fight back. He didn't even look surprised. He just looked tired. Tired in a way that said this wasn't new. Tired in a way that made the whole thing feel even heavier. The screaming was awful. The hate was worse. But the worst part was knowing Jordan had seen it before and would likely see it again. The lesson is simple. Judging someone by their skin color doesn't make you powerful. It exposes who you truly are. Thank you for spending time with Untold Stories today. If this story moved you, hit the like button, subscribe, and tell us where you're watching from. Your support brings these hidden stories to light.